Hey everybody, Anthony from Lazy Baits Co. here. Today, we're going to make some swim bait tails. We're going to be using two products from Specialty Resins. They're Platinum Cure Silicone, and the star of the show, they're Flex It 40. Make some of these. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's get into it. We're going to go over some of the stuff that we're going to need to do this. First of all, some gloves. We're going to need our Flex It 40. This is going to be our material we use to make the tails. We're going to have the cast mold platinum. This is going to be to make our molds. We're going to need a measuring cup, a scale, some mold release, an X-Acto knife, have some clamps here, Vaseline, of course our tail. I also have a tail mold. I'm going to show you a couple different ways that we can make these. We've got a cup. This is how we're going to form the mold, and some hot glue. So we're going to start with making the mold. So we have our tail here. This is made out of resin, 3D printed resin. You can make them out of wood, Lexan, anything just to get the shape that you want. So we're going to start with our hot glue. And we're just going to put a little here on the bottom. So now that this is cooled, I'll set this over here. Alternatively, if you don't want to use a cup like this, you can buy something like these forms online and just set it down on something flat and then pull it apart afterwards, and you have the shape of your mold. For me, I'm just going to throw this cup away afterwards, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'll set this off to the side for now. So we're going to mix up some silicone. We're going to be using the cast mold platinum. I like this stuff because it's easy to use, 1-to-1 by weight, 40-minute work time, cure time 8 hours. So, you know, pour it later on this afternoon. I can come out and demold it, and it's ready to go. So you can go on Specialty Resin's website and figure out using their calculator exactly how much silicone you need. For me, I'm just going to eyeball it. It's easy enough because it's 1-to-1. And we went a little over, but that's all right. So we got our trusty butter knife. Stir this up. Make sure to get it all off the sides there. You can also get these mixing cups off their website too. They're super handy. They come in a pack. You can get from this little 1 pint up to, I think, 5 quarts. You can get 5-quart ones. Mix that up. Try not to introduce too much air, but we're going to put this in the vacuum pot anyway, just to make sure we get all the air out. Put this in the vacuum pot for a minute, and we'll be right back. Okay, so that's degassed. What we're gonna do is take our mold release and just spray a little bit in the cup. Okay, got a little bit of hot glue on there. And then we'll just fill it up nice and slow. I like to pour it off to the side and just let it fill up. That way we don't trap any air in the mold. And there we go. So that's full. Now you can come back in 8 hours and it'll be nice and cured. We're gonna do some TV magic here. I poured this same one yesterday. Set this off to the side. And we got this back here. So, same concept. The tail's inside of there. This is nice and cured. What I'm gonna do is just peel this off. And throw that away. Nothing to clean up after. So, we got our tail in there. What's nice about using the hot glue is it kind of gives you a little bit of a sprue. It's a little larger than the base. That way it doesn't overflow. And with the cup, you got a nice shaped mold. What we're gonna do from here is just cut it nicely down the sides. I like to go in at an angle. And this doesn't have to be super neat. You won't see this seam afterwards. And there's no need to make a 2-part mold when you do it this way. Pull the master right out. Like I said, this could be made out of anything. Some people like to carve it out of wood, spray it, make it nice and shiny. Lexan, some people cut Lexan or acrylic and then shape it. Basically, anything you want to make a mold of, anything you could find. So we'll just set this off to the side, and now we have our mold. It's hard to see, but inside of there is the exact shape. This stuff picks up all the detail, cures no problem, and it's very durable. You know, this mold will last forever now. So we'll get to pouring it. I like to take a rubber band. I'm gonna spray just a little bit of mold release in there. Take a rubber band. Just hold it closed. So we're gonna move the silicone because we're done with that for now, and get to the real star of the show, the Flex It 40. So they also have the whole Flex It line. It goes from 40 to I think 80, and Flex It 40 is the most pliable one. This is the one I prefer. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how the Swimbait tails were made without using silicone, because I wanted something a little more durable, and I didn't want a hard plastic feeling. I just wanted something a little flexible, and this is exactly what I was looking for. So this stuff is awesome. I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. We'll make this tail have some color. We'll make it blue with silver glitter. So we'll just take another cup. We got our scale here. Oh, before we get into that, I'll show you another way. So these molds are actually 3D printed. I make these myself. I design them in Fusion 360 and then print the molds for them. So the one caveat with this is mold release won't work. You have to use something a little thicker, like petroleum jelly, even beeswax I've used, and that works nice. And just brush it on there. If you don't do this, that Flex-It 40 will glue these together and you'll never get them apart again. But as long as you do this, they work perfectly fine. You could do this with a resin mold. You could print a FDM printed mold. I'll just brush that on nicely, get in all the vents, all the corners. Close this up. This is where the clamps come in. Set that over here also. I like to put a little extra on the top of the mold, just in case. That way it cleans off nicely. So we got our silicone mold and a printed mold. I like to use a mixing stick that I can just throw out after, because this stuff really glues itself to anything. I'll get a different cup. That was a used one, so we got that. This is also 1-to-1 by weight, 15-minute work time, so you have some time to, get your colors ready, and it's not an issue pouring it. Cure time 5 hours. I like to run multiple of these molds. Like these printed molds, I'll have 6 or 8 of them and just pour them all in one shot. So we'll fill this up. So I like to pour some in, and this is just a mica powder. So we can take this mica powder. You can use anything, really, any type of color in this. It's not gonna inhibit the curing. Put some mica powder in there. Put some glitter. And then get the part A. And I'll just mix it up. Again, try not to get too much air into it. This, I don't put in the vacuum chamber. It's never an issue. All the bubbles usually just work themselves out the sprue. So you can see it takes the color real nice, and this will show up in the tail afterwards. Might add a little bit more. So we got our silicone mold, like I said. Just pour it right in the top here. Nice and slow, and all the air, because of the shape of the tail, works itself right out of the sprue. And then we got our printed mold. And that's why I put the Vaseline around the top, because I always get a little over there. So we'll let these sit for 5 hours and we'll come back and we'll demold everything. Okay, so we're back. It's been 5 hours and these are ready to demold. So with the silicone mold, I'm going to pull this rubber band off. Just peel the mold open. And that's it. You can see that silicone picked up all the detail from the master. And then what I like to do is take some scissors, just cut the sprue off. And you're good to go. Nice and flexible. If you want something a little stiffer, you can go with the Flex at 80. That's a much stiffer blend. And then with this mold, pop it open. And that's it. Cut that off. And just like that, you got your tails. And this stuff is extremely durable. I prefer it over silicone. Some people like silicone tails, and you can actually do something like this mold and use the custom mold platinum and make these tails with the platinum silicone. So maybe if you want to see that, drop a comment below and we can do that in another video. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something. Drop some ideas in the comments on what you'd like to see next. Thank you to Specialty Resin for letting us show off their product, show how to make some tails. I know I struggled for a while at first trying to figure out what material would be best, and this stuff is awesome. So thanks again.